Hello, class. So today is Monday, May the 11th, 2020. All right. Today in ELA, we're going to be focusing in on Module 8, Week 3 assignment, which actually focuses on a new grammar skill, which is comparative and superlative adjectives. A little confusing because they're bigger words. However, I'm going to break it down and make it a little bit easier for you to understand. The other thing that we are going to focus in today is our new vocabulary words for a new story. The skill of asking and answering questions for this story, and you will have a Google form that kind of links the two together, both asking and answering questions as well as vocabulary skills after you read your story for the first time. Your new story this week is Inside Out and Back Again, which is a poem. So the genre is poetry, and it will use sounds and rhythms of words to convey images and feelings throughout our new story. You will also have a reading log on Schoology today, like we do each and every Monday and Wednesday, in preparation for just really getting us reading and getting the 20 minutes of reading each day and increasing our fluency and comprehension. So today's assignment, make sure you're clicking on every link that's available for you, as there are specific tasks that you have to complete. The last slide on our PowerPoint today is actually going to give you exactly what you needed to complete today, which will actually you can treat as like a checklist. I will be doing that this week just to help you out and get you an idea of what is completed. On Tuesday, I will post who completed the assignment uh, so that you're well aware and really are able to move ahead to Wednesday. So have fun, uh, have a day, and I will be presenting our PowerPoint right now. On Google Classroom, I go on Monday, May 11th. I click on my PowerPoint to get there. And when you're on this PowerPoint, the first thing you want to do is you want to press this present button. All right, you don't want to just click through, you want to present it. All right, so I'm presenting my screen. And as I said prior, today is Monday, May 11th, 2020. It says to make sure that you read and complete any links in this PowerPoint, and you must watch the YouTube video with this as well. Links are always underlined. All right, so as we go on, we have our new grammar skill. That new grammar skill is comparative and superlative adjectives. All right, kind of difficult in certain ways. Comparative, I see the word compare. And when I'm comparing something with something else. So I'm comparing two things in this case. So a comparative adjective compares two people, places, or things, and we would add er to the end of an adjective here, or we would use the word more before these adjectives. For instance, life on the prairie was harder than life in the city. I'm comparing the prairie with the city, so I added er to the end of an adjective of hard. All right, it became a comparative adjective of harder. If I am looking at superlative adjectives, that's going to compare more than two people, places, or things, and I'm going to add either est to the end, or I'm going to add the word most before the adjective. Sometimes we have to make sure that with that y at the end of the adjective, we have to change it to that I. All right, drop the y, add the I in order to form the comparative or superlative. For instance, the wolf is the most frightening animal to hear at night. All right, this is not comparing two things, because if it's saying animal to hear at night, that means that we could hear a lot of different animals at night. All right, so superlative would be most frightening animal to hear at night. So it's comparing it to more than two animals. All right, so I'm going to show you a video on YouTube, which is a comparative as well as a superlative adjective and how they're used. Please note there might be some advertisements because YouTube. So I click on my link. All right, so link is loading. And there it is. There's my Grammarly advertisement. 3, 2, 1, skip.
This video is about comparative adjectives in English. This is Jack and this is Mike. Jack is short and Mike is tall. Jack is shorter than Mike. Mike is taller than Jack. We often need to compare different things and people. And to do this, we use comparative adjectives. For example, smaller, bigger, taller, shorter. If the adjective has only one syllable, we make its comparative form by adding the suffix er, short, shorter.
So notice that if it has one syllable, we'll add that er to it. If it has more than one syllable, we're going to add the word more to the beginning.
And if the adjective has a short vowel and a consonant at the end, we need to double the consonant. Big, bigger. More examples. Small, smaller. Tall, taller. Old, older. Hot, hotter. Jack is quite sociable. Mike is very sociable. So Mike is more sociable than Jack.
Notice how they're comparing two different people in this situation, which makes it a comparative, which is why we're going to use that word more before the adjective of sociable.
If it's a two and more syllable adjective, we need to add the word more before the adjective. Sociable, more sociable. Repeat after me. More sociable. More interesting. More boring. The opposite of the word more is less. Less sociable. Less interesting. Less boring.
Alright, so I'm going to go right back to the PowerPoint again. And that was my comparative. I didn't want to show you the whole thing. I wanted to show you parts of it. And we do the same thing with superlative right here. So here's the part 2.
This is the second video about the degrees of comparison in English, this time superlative adjectives. Jack is not very tall. Kate is taller than Jack. Mike is a bit taller than Kate.
Notice there are 3 people here now. That's more than 2. Alright, that's simple mathematics, I think. I'll talk to Miss Woodbridge. I'll see if that's true. But there's more than 2 people here. There's 3. So we're going to go into that superlative adjective in this case.
So Mike is the tallest. Tall, taller, the tallest. Small, smaller, the smallest. You already know about the comparative form of adjectives. Adjectives in the superlative form express the highest degree of certain quality. We make the superlative form of one-syllable adjectives by adding the suffix est and the definite article the before the adjective, the shortest. If the adjective has a short vowel, we must double the consonant, add the suffix est and the definite article the biggest. So let's look at the comparative and superlative forms together. Smaller, the smallest. Taller, the tallest. Older, the oldest. Hotter, the hottest. For example, Mike is the tallest guy in the office. Today is the hottest day of the year. Mike is the most sociable person in the office. Jack is the most helpful. We make the superlative form of 2 and more syllable adjectives by adding the word the most before the adjective. For example, the most sociable. And again, let's read comparatives and superlatives together. More sociable, the most sociable. More interesting, the most interesting. More boring, the most boring.
I'm going to bring you right back to this one again.
Mike is the
Just
most
a
sociable
reminder.
person in the office.
Mike is the most sociable person in the office. I know that this is going to be a superlative because there's more than 2 people in this office, and we have to assume that there'd be more than 2 people in that office. And we're also going to talk about Jack being
Jack
the most
is the
helpful.
most helpful.
And that would be the same thing when it comes to most helpful person in the office. At that point, when it gives a name of like a workplace, an office, a school, it's usually telling you that you're comparing more than 2 things together. which will make this a little bit easier for you to understand. So we're back to the PowerPoint, all right? And we watch those 2 slides. So let's practice. All right, so it says use each word in parentheses in its comparative or superlative form. How do I know which one I'm going to use? Well, that I know I'm going to use it based on if it's comparing 2 things, I know it's comparative. If it's comparing more than 2 things, it's superlative. For instance, number 1, the nighttime is always blank than the daytime. So I look at this word scary, all right? And I have to think, am I comparing 2 things or am I comparing more than 2 things? Well, in this case, I am comparing the nighttime with the daytime. So if I'm only comparing the nighttime with the daytime, I have to make this a comparative. So that comparative would be scarier. The nighttime is always scarier than the daytime. Scary is only 1 syllable. So I just drop the Y and I-E-R. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to do numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Pause the video right now, and we will review over these answers after you've completed it. Alright, so we did number 1 together. Here's number 2. Riding across the prairie on horseback is blank than riding in a wagon. Alright, prairie on horseback, wagon, which tells me I'm comparing the 2. So I have to use difficult. Difficult is more than 1 syllable, so I have to use that word more, so it'd be more difficult. My family is blank on the prairie than in the city. Alright, prairie, city are 2 things. Happy, 2 syllables. Alright, I can make it my family is happier on the prairie than in the city. Number 4, Dad is blank than anyone he knows. Alright, so if he thinks, is that comparing more than 2 things? Alright, Dad is stronger than anyone he knows. Alright, I am not sure if it is blank to be strong or to be wise. Alright, here's my word great. What am I going to do? I'm not sure if it is greater to be strong or to be wise. So I'm comparing 2 things. Our frontier home is the blank one around. Alright, so all of these were comparative. This one is going to tell me it's superlative because it's comparing all around. Our frontier home is the most comfortable one around. Good job. Mom makes the blank pies I've ever tasted. Alright, so once again, I have to look into it. And this would be a superlative because if I'm assuming I've tasted more than 2 pies, so it'd be the tastiest. Mom makes the tastiest pies I've ever tasted. So here's our work. We have to make sure we go into grammar 4.3.1. It says click the link. Boom. So we're going to click the link. Goodbye, YouTubes. Going to write your name, Mr. Key, your home teacher, whoever it is. Alright. You're going to read the directions, read each sentence, write the correct form of each adjective in parentheses on the line. I did things a little bit easier for you. I broke down a comparative and what that does, and a superlative and what that does, and then I actually made this multiple choice. So you could choose between the best answer. Sometimes it was blank to go around a mountain, then to hike over it. Would it be faster, more fast, fastest, or most fast? Alright, so you get to choose the options instead of having to write it in. Alright, when you're done, you just have to press that word submit, and your work is submitted in grammar. Alright, so go ahead, complete this form right now, and pause this video. Alright, welcome back. So with a new week, we have new vocabulary words. So let's go over these vocabulary words. Alright, our first word is sponsor. Say it. Good job. A sponsor helps an immigrant settle into his or her new country. The family thanked their sponsor for all she had done to help them set up their new home. Let's look at number 2. Our word is generosity. Say it. Good. When people show generosity, they give something valuable or meaningful to someone. In an act of generosity, Claire's friends volunteered to help her clean her room. Alright, let's look at number 3. Number 3 is goodwill. Say it. Good job. When people show goodwill, They show kindness towards others and willingness to help. As an act of goodwill, the teacher gave the students a night free of homework. All right. Our next word is grateful. Say it. Good. The word's grateful. When people are grateful, they are happy and satisfied with what they have. I am grateful for the sunshine today after 10 days of rain. Definitely be grateful for sunshine and less rain and less cold. It's May. It shouldn't be cold anymore. Number 5. Our word is exception. Say it. Good. If something is an exception, it is left out of a group or list because it doesn't fit well. Yasmin read for 1 hour every day, but Friday was an exception since she was so busy preparing for the party. Number 6. The word is sensible. Say it. Sensible. A sensible rule is one that is simple and shows good judgment. Deidre, the most sensible of the siblings, is always talking the others out of making trouble. So we're actually going to use these vocabulary words today in one of our worksheets after we read our story. All right, and in order to understand our story, which is called Inside Out and Back Again, it is actually a poem. So we're going to go back into poetry just like we did in week 1 of this module. As we read, we want to make sure that we ask and answer questions. That's monitoring our reading that makes us better readers. All right, remember that good readers think about questions they have about the text, and readers always ask questions before, during, and after reading. This helps them better understand what they read. All right, remember those questions of who, what, where, when, how are always used when you are questioning. So a lot of these times asking and answering questions can be used to make predictions or clarify things that seem unclear. All right, answers to your questions can be found by looking through the text, reading ahead, or rereading, and looking at graphic and text features. All right, so here's our story. Our story is Inside Out and Back Again. You should be on page 208 to 209 of your My Book. If you're not there, pause the video, get out your My Book, and open to page 208, 209. Alright, so now that you're on page 208 and 209, we want to look at the genre study before we set a purpose. Alright, the genre study is a poem. Poetry uses the sounds and rhythms of words to convey images and feelings. Poems include word sounds, such as onomatopoeias, to emphasize ideas. Onomatopoeias describe words that sound like what they mean, such as hiss. Poems may be organized into stanzas, as we read in our first week, or a series of lines grouped together. Free verse poems do not rhyme or have a regular rhythm. They sound more like a natural speech. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to picture walk our story. I want you to think about the title and the genre of this text. What do you know about feeling inside out in an unfamiliar place? And then write your ideas on page 208. I also want you to take a picture walk right now in your story with this to help set your purpose. So pause the video and set your purpose. Alright, so after you've set your purpose, you're going to read our story inside out and back again, starting from page 208 to 209. As you are reading, you are going to complete this vocabulary form, which will also include one ask and answer question. So you're going to make sure you write your name, whoever your homeroom teacher is. Alright, it says you must read this story starting at page 208 of your My Book 2. Alright, here are some questions that you're going to have to answer as you go on. So what I would do first is I would read over these questions, then I would read your story. Alright, and when you're finished reading your story, go back to them. I also put the critical vocabulary at the bottom of this form to help you when you submit your answer. So you're reading your story for the first time inside out and back again. It will also be on HMH Ed My Friend. If you do not have your My Book 2, you can always go on to Ed My Friend for help. So go ahead, complete your story, pause the video, and then come back to the video when you're done completing the form and the story. Alright, so as a reminder, we always have a reading log which is on Schoology. So you're always going to have this reading log. And today's reading log, I want you to pose I wonder questions. I give you an example that I'm reading the story Smile, and I say, as if going into middle school wasn't hard enough, Raina is going in with no two front teeth. I wonder how this is going to affect Raina when it comes to making friends. I wonder if people are going to tease her. I wonder if she will learn different lessons throughout the story. Alright, so how to do this is that you would go on to Schoology. Alright, you would click the folder for Monday, May 11th, 2020. You click Monday, May 11th, 2020 reading log. Alright, and you would complete this following the rubric that will also be posted here to help you understand how you're being scored. So make sure that you are giving your best work when it comes to those questions. Alright, I'm still going to present again because I'm not done. On this is also a checklist for you. So as you go, you can make sure you check off what you owed me for that day. For instance, today is Monday, May 11th. Did I complete Grammar 4.3.1? Check. Did I complete the vocabulary worksheet on Google Forms? Check. Did I complete the reading log on Schoology 511? Check. Alright. Also, it says for Wednesday, May 13th, 2020, there will be 3 assignments on Wednesday. So that's telling you that you have to come back to your ELA page on Wednesday to make sure that you're ready for new assignments. Alright, so good luck. Hope you try your best. And remember, when you turn things in, you're saying, Mr. Key, this is the best I can do. I can do no better than this. Good job and good luck.